Have you ever stopped to wonder why, even working hard, paying your bills on time, and doing everything the right way, there's simply never enough money left over? It's an uncomfortable question, I know. Most people avoid thinking about it because the answer might shake certainties that seem too solid to be questioned. Still, stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. A lot. Perhaps the problem isn't your salary, or the economy, or some absurd expense you've never made before. Maybe it's hidden in a common decision, repeated every month, socially accepted and even praised. A choice so normal that it goes unnoticed, but which slowly drains your finances without making a sound. Have you ever experienced this? That feeling of always chasing after something, always adjusting, always waiting for the next month to breathe easier, and it never arrives as you imagine. This is the kind of silent mistake that no one teaches you to identify. It doesn't generate immediate guilt, it doesn't seem irresponsible, and it doesn't sound like a big problem. On the contrary, it seems like just part of adult life. But what if the real obstacle isn't how much you earn, but an automatic choice you repeat month after month without realizing its real impact? Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. And perhaps that's exactly why this subject bothers us so much. Because when we start to look more closely, we realize we're not alone in this feeling. Many people who seem to be financially done well carry the same frustration inside, the same silent tightness, the same doubt that almost no one speaks aloud. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below about what has touched you the most so far. It could be an experience, a feeling, or even a question. Reading this creates a real exchange, and often someone on the other side recognizes themselves in your story. If what I'm saying is shedding some light on your thoughts, liking this video is a simple way to show that this kind of conversation needs to continue. It signals to the platform that more people need to hear this kind of reflection, which goes beyond numbers and touches on real financial behavior. And if you feel this content resonates with your reality, subscribing to the channel is a way to walk this path together, to not remain just with these silent doubts. Your participation here is what makes this space grow and reach more people who are also trying to understand why money disappears without warning. And it's precisely from there that we begin to see what previously went unnoticed. What makes this type of error so difficult to see is precisely the fact that it seems normal. The human brain has been trained to avoid immediate pain and seek short-term comfort, even if it comes at a high cost later on. That's why piecemeal, automatic, and predictable decisions give a sense of security. They don't hurt now. They don't scare us. They fit into the routine. And when something fits too well, we stop questioning it. The problem is that the impact doesn't come in the form of a shock, but as wear and tear. Small losses repeated month after month seem harmless, but added up over time, they create a weight that changes the entire trajectory. There's a hidden truth in all of this. It's not a lack of financial intelligence, nor a lack of effort. It's behavior, it's adaptation. Human beings quickly adapt to any scenario, including financial hardship. The mind adjusts expectations, normalizes discomfort, and moves forward as if it were just adult life. This mental programming makes choices that erode the future seem like responsible decisions in the present. And the more predictable the expense, the more invisible it becomes. The money is gone before it even reaches your hands, and the feeling of control remains intact, even when the margin of choice diminishes. This dynamic creates a profound impact on mindset. The person begins to believe that it's never enough, that something is always missing, that the problem lies outside of themselves. But behind the scenes, it's repeated, seemingly small decisions that shape the financial journey. There's no clear breaking point, just a sequence of automatic choices that push life in the same direction. The most liberating revelation here is understanding that this isn't a personal failing. It's conditioning. It's how the system was designed to work with those who don't stop to observe. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because when you start to see these decisions for what they truly are, something changes in how you approach money, choices, and your own future. And before I continue, comment below. That makes sense to me. When a portion of your money is already committed from the start, something silently changes in the way you live. It's not an immediately visible change, but it settles in the background of your routine. The income comes in, the salary arrives in your account, but before you even decide anything, a chunk is already gone. This money doesn't go through conscious choice, It doesn't go through reflection. It doesn't go through planning. It simply doesn't exist. And when this repeats month after month, the mind enters a constant state of survival without realizing it. That's where that hard-to-explain financial anxiety comes from. The feeling of being squeezed even when, on paper, everything seems stable. It's not a lack of organization, it's a lack of leeway. Without room to breathe, every decision becomes a reaction. Any unforeseen event becomes a threat. Any expense outside the plan generates guilt. The person starts operating in defensive mode, trying only to keep everything running, without the mental energy to think about transformation or a change of course. The impact of this goes far beyond money itself. It affects clarity, confidence, and how you see the future. There's a hidden truth in this process that almost no one talks about. When money is already committed, it also consumes your emotional freedom. The mind becomes too busy putting out small fires to see bigger decisions. The financial journey ceases to be a path of building and becomes a cycle of maintenance. This is exhausting. It steals focus, it steals creativity, and little by little it normalizes the idea that living paycheck to paycheck is the norm, even when income grows. This is where the psychological cost becomes strongly apparent. It's not just about numbers, it's about mental energy, about how much of your daily attention is drained by worries you can't always name, about how automatic decisions shape behaviors and create invisible limits. When money is born dead, life begins to be lived on the edge, even without major apparent crises. And realizing this is already a powerful revelation, because it changes how you interpret your own choices. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding this invisible effect opens up space to see patterns that were hidden and reposition your mindset regarding decisions that seem small, but define the entire journey. And before continuing, write in the comments, "I'm on this journey too." And that's precisely where the cycle begins to close without the person realizing it. The tighter the budget becomes, the less space you have to think calmly, and the less mental space there is, the more attractive, quick, predictable, and socially acceptable solutions become. Paying in installments, pushing things aside, adjusting here and there, pretending things will improve next month. These decisions alleviate the pain in the short term, but reinforce the very pattern that caused the tightness. The brain feels immediate relief and learns that this approach works, even if the real impact is negative. The problem is that this process doesn't explode. It doesn't come as a clear crisis. It doesn't generate a red alert. It wears you down. It corrodes you little by little. The person adapts to the squeeze, redefines what they consider normal, and continues living within increasingly narrow limits. Behind the scenes, the mindset changes. Dreams become smaller. Bold decisions seem dangerous. The financial journey transforms into a sequence of constraints, not of building. And all this happens without a specific event marking the beginning of the problem. This is the hidden truth that keeps so many people trapped for years. It's not a bad month. It's not an isolated expense. It's not bad luck. It's a pattern. It's repetition. It's the silent loop between financial hardship, quick fixes, and new financial hardship. The longer this lasts, the harder it becomes to see that there's another way to position oneself. The feeling of almost making it, becomes part of one's identity, and the emotional impact accumulates along with the financial one. The turning point begins when this perception becomes clear, when you understand that you're not dealing with a one-off problem, but with a self-perpetuating system. This changes the way you look at your own decisions, changes how you interpret the past, and opens up space for a real transformation of mindset. Not out of guilt, but out of awareness, because seeing the pattern is the first step to breaking free from it. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because when you honestly identify this cycle, you start to notice details that previously went unnoticed and that have a much greater impact than they seem. And before continuing, comment below. That makes sense to me. The first step to breaking this silent error isn't magical, and perhaps that's precisely why it works. It's not about cutting everything out, punishing yourself, or living in constant deprivation. It's also not about becoming a different person overnight. It's about clarity, about honestly seeing the real cost of the automatic decisions you've been repeating without questioning. When a choice ceases to be invisible, it loses power, and that, in itself, begins a profound transformation in how you relate to money. There is immense relief when you understand that you don't need to fix your entire life at once. What changes the game are small, conscious adjustments made with intention. Regaining awareness is regaining control, not in the sense of rigidity but of presence, of knowing why something is there, how much it truly costs, and the impact it has on your journey. This change in mindset removes the weight of guilt and replaces it with mature responsibility, the kind that doesn't paralyze, but strengthens. Behind the scenes, something important happens. The relationship with money ceases to be reactive and begins to be strategic. You start to observe patterns, recognize emotional triggers, and understand why certain decisions seem comfortable, even when they harm the future. This restores mental energy. It opens up space for better choices. And little by little, it breaks the cycle that previously seemed inevitable. The impact doesn't appear as a large, immediate leap, but as a growing sense of margin, of breathing room, of direction. This is the hidden truth that almost no one points out. Major financial changes rarely begin with big cuts, but rather with small revelations. When you see what was previously automatic, you change the way you decide, the way you plan, and even the way you see yourself within this story. It's a process of continuous transformation, made of awareness, not extreme sacrifice. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because when you start looking at your decisions with this level of clarity, new questions arise, real possibilities emerge, and a more solid path to escape survival mode opens up. And before I continue, write in the comments, "That makes sense to me." If you've made it this far, it's because something along the way resonated with you, perhaps not as a ready-made answer, but as a mirror. And that's exactly the kind of reflection we build here, calmly, clearly, and without empty promises. If this content helped you see something that was previously automatic, subscribing to the channel is a simple way to continue this journey together, deepening these conversations that truly impact everyday decisions. If you want, leave a sentence in the comments just so I know you made it to the end. Right, this message was for me. This creates a real connection and shows that this type of content is reaching those who need it. And if at any point you felt represented by what was said, liking the video is just a natural way to reinforce this exchange that happened here. There's a video over here that perfectly complements this topic, expanding on this reflection even further. Click on it and continue with me there, at the same pace, in the same conversation.